All right, putting the Roccbox to test tonight with a nice steak, and we're doing it in a cold cast iron pan. So, got the pan at room temperature. It's in the low to mid 70s here tonight. 1 pound steak. I cut it from a rib roast, so it's a boneless rib steak. Pretty thick, about 1.5 inches thick there. I like my steak super rare. So I'm anxious to get it in the Roccbox. I salted it up really well with kosher salt about 2 hours ago and just been letting it sit at room temperature. So what I'm going to do again, cold pan, throw it in the Roccbox, let the top get a nice crust on it, flip it, throw it back in the Roccbox, and let the other side get a nice crust on it, and then bring it here and let it rest. And we'll see how that goes. I'm anxious. Like I said, I'm a big fan of very rare steak, and I've had trouble getting a good crust on steak here, whether I do it in a super hot pan, broiler, grill. The best one I've made so far has been using the blowtorch and then doing a reverse sear and then throwing it into the oven, but I'm anxious to check out the Roccbox. I've used it a couple times already. Twice actually with pizza. First time was what I'll call a learning experience, but the second time, even using the Roccbox pizza dough recipe, it was super awesome. So anxious to give this steak a try. All right, so it's been about 25 minutes, and as you can see, or maybe you can't see, it's at about 225, 230 C. And I know that, or I think I read that temperature is below the stone. So I'm thinking that it's pretty darn hot in there already. And there's no use getting that stone super hot because all the cooking is going to come from the top. So I'm going to go ahead and get the steak, throw it in the pan, and we'll bring it out here. Alright, it's been about 30 minutes since I started this. It's been on high with gas the entire time. So what is that? It's a little bit over 330 minutes on gas. Again, like I said, it's been on high the entire time. So that's a pretty good temp. It's about 70, 75 degrees out here, no wind. So it's heating up pretty fast compared to, this is my third time using it on gas. And it took considerably longer the first 2 times, but it was a little bit windy out. No wind today, so this is really fast heat up for me compared to what I've seen before. Room temperature pan, room temperature steak. I just patted it dry again, but it was pretty dry. Salted it really well. I'm gonna go ahead and throw this in and then start a timer. I'm curious how long it'll take. Put her in. Starting to hear some sizzling here. Seeing some smoke coming off. Don't want to burn my GoPro. See that it's drying out pretty well there on top, which is great. I want to keep it dry. Let's take a look. Oh yeah. Starting to get a good sear. I don't want to get it too far back. It's getting nice brown crust on it there towards the back. Take another look. Oh yeah, nice crust on the back end. A little gray on the front. Get it back there a little further. Might need to flip it a couple times. I thought I was just gonna have to flip it once, but maybe front to back and also flip it over. Okay, just flipped it front to back. Kind of give that a sear. The other side. Getting a lot of spattering, but not a ton of smoke. So, which is good. I can see a lot of grease on top, or fat rendering out on top. Sounds good. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, that's looking good. Another minute there on that side. Gonna push it back a little bit further. not touching the flame in the back, but it's really close. So the steak is probably about 3 or 4 inches from where the flame comes out of the floor. Take another look. Oh yeah, that looks really good. Okay, I'm gonna flip it over the other way now. Okay, when I flipped it over that time, even the bottom was getting a good sear. It wasn't burnt in any spots. It was nice and brown. On the end, it was towards the flame first. So I left that end, the end that was towards the flame first, since it already had some nice browning, I left that towards the mouth of the oven this time. So maybe it only needs 3 flips. It's getting a little bit more smoke now. Let's see how that looks. Oh yeah, that looks very good. See if I can get a little bit more, because that's probably not much more than I had with the either a hot pan on the stove top. It's sizzling pretty good. I can see some of the fat might be starting to burn a little bit. Let's take a look. Yeah, it's getting a little charred there on the end, but the top, the meat, is really looking good. Let's try a little bit more, a couple more seconds here, and I think it'll be done. Every once in a while I see a little flame jump down into the pan, so I'm guessing it's getting close to where the fat might catch on fire. So let's take a look again. Yeah, that's looking really good. Getting a little bit of burning there. The rest of it looks really good. I mean, 1/2 second. That's really hot, even though I have this pit mitt on. Boy, I can only hold it for about 2 seconds there. I have to set it down. Alright, let's take a last look. Yeah, I'm going to call that done. So we're going to take it in, give it a rest, see how it looks. I just want to give you a look at that. I just brought it in. So it's been off the flame for about a minute. The pan is super hot. This is actually the bottom. So I flipped it over once I brought it in. So that has good crust there. Nothing there, but good crust over here. Flip it over and show you the top, and then I'll give it a proper rest. So this was the original bottom. I flipped it over. It looks like good crust. I probably could have let it go a little bit longer, but I was worried about that fat getting burned there, but I probably should have let that go. So we'll give it a rest and then come back and slice it open. Okay, I gave it a 5-minute rest. I'm getting 115, 120, depending on the depth. In the middle, I'm going to say it's in the 1 teens. Oh, there, it's a little hot. See how it is over there? Yeah, a little hot. Let's take it, slice it up, see how it looks. Okay, let's give it a slice here. A little overdone there. That's a little bit better. And right in the middle. Oh yeah, that's good. Good stuff. Looks a little more cooked than I thought. I thought it would. This side looks really good, and this was the bottom. So the bottom got a good sear. The top got a little bit more done, a little bit further down, but really good through. Very rare in the center there. So looks pretty good. I'm gonna eat it.